Hi there. As a longtime motorcycle rider, probably about 45 years or so, I've always been a little concerned whether or not cars and other people can see me on my motorcycle. You know, many times we seem to be in invisible blind spots, and as we know, the most notorious accident rate is when a car turns in front of you as you're approaching them. And that's even when you have a headlight on or where you may be wearing some high visibility clothing. I've been using a product which I have no affiliation for. This is not a sponsored event. Called from Kissin Tech, and I'll give you some information. I call it a path blazer. Basically, this is just a headlight modulator that switches your headlight from high and low beams back and forth at a fairly rapid rate. And as we all know, movement catches our eye much more so than a stationary object. I've been using this product for probably the last 14 years, for example, in my 650 Suzuki Bergman there. And it's been so effective. You can instantly see people that are recognizing you. You can tell it as they're looking in their rear view mirrors or side view mirrors. You know, unfortunately, many times I've had people turn over and move to the side of the road thinking I'm an emergency vehicle. They're not really used to these headlight modulators, although in the United States, they are approved by the Federal Motor Safety Standards for all 50 states, and so they're legal to use. I'm not sure how it would do outside of the United States. That would be something you'd have to check with your individual company and Department of Transportation and see. It's a simple process, though. Basically, it connects a device in between your existing headlight and your wiring harness, so there's no splicing, no cutting. It's just simply plug and play. That being said, they're all very specific, and you have to get the right one for your particular bike, and more importantly, your particular headlight. The one I have here, I'll try to show this to you. This is the Path Blazer modulator kit, and it comes in a couple pieces. This piece is what connects between your headlight and your wiring harness. So basically this plugs into the back of your bulb, and then this piece plugs into your existing harness. Now, during the daytime, this is activated by your high beam switch. So when you put your high beam switch on, it just continues to modulate up and down, up and down, up and down. Well, if you have a problem, say you get into nighttime or you enter dark tunnels, there's a optical pickup sensor that connects into the back of this apparatus as well. And so when it senses it's nighttime, whether you've entered into a dark environment, it stops the light undulation and just goes to a solid beam. When you get back again, it just picks up the light again and just starts modulating. So they come with installation guides, and again, light specific for each individual bike. Today we'll do one, show you the simple installation here on my 2018 Triumph Street Scrambler and show you how that's done. Okay, to start with, we need to get access into the headlight casing there, and most of the time, most of these bikes only require moving 2 screws, usually on the sides here. This one came out with an Allen key, for example. Many of them are just Phillips heads, but they just unscrew out. Nothing particularly fancy there. Next, we need to remove the bezel from the housing, and many times you'll pull out. Sometimes there's a little clip, such as right there, at the top, that kind of helps hold it in place as well. And you can see where they are mounting the screws to the headlight bezel inside of the case. I've gone ahead and removed the plug from the headlight itself, and then basically what I'm going to do is take the adapter, and then this simply plugs into the back of the light bulb. Okay. Once that's snapped in place, you go back to your wiring harness and you take this male end and plug it into the female receptacle of the wiring harness, and you can see that's seated completely there. The next step then is to find where the photo optic sensor connects to the modulating unit, and that's right here in this little white box. And we'll take the photo optic sensor, connect this in to here, feed the optical sensor through the back of the headlight housing, and secure it somewhere where it's visible to the light. I'll probably end up just basically zip tying it here to the harness is coming here from the right side of my handlebars, and that'll give it access to the sun and to either activate or deactivate the pulse modulation based on conditions. So I'll go ahead and connect that and we'll get that started. Okay, so the installation's done. I remounted the bezel, just need to tighten my 2 screws. I routed the optical pickup here along the bundle here, the wires. And so right now the light's on normal. I can go ahead and switch this to high beam. Now, because inside the garage I'm not getting enough adequate light, it's sensing that it's dark outside. I'll go ahead and take the light from my camera and turn that on, and shine it on the optical pickup, and see if we get enough light on there to make this thing function for you. And there you go. As you can see, it's just modulating the headlight on and on and on and off. If you don't want it, you can turn the switch back off and it just goes stationary, whether or not there's any light on the optical sensor or not. And I've done this to all my bikes. The Triumph here, I've been able to successfully install it on my 2019 Royal Enfield Himalayan. And by the way, it does take the exact same sensor as the 2018 Triumph Street Scrambler, even though the website itself doesn't list the Himalayans or Royal Enfields. It is still an H4 bulb in both of those, and so it'll work with either of those 2 bikes. So, hope you find that interesting. Again, I find it very, very effective for increasing my visibility and just makes me feel a little bit safer. Thanks for watching.